If you're having trouble finding a good high ticket sales job that's going to pay you a lot of money, we're going to talk about why that is and how you are being scammed. So, there are only two ways for you to get a legitimate high ticket sales job. You can join a program that's going to help you find a job and it's going to give you access to legitimate jobs. Or the second one, you can just do outreach and applying on your own with no one helping you. At the end of the day, you just need to remember that this is just a sales job. So let's talk about both of these. Number one, this is going to be joining a paid program, and we're going to talk about what the huge problem with that is right now in our industry, that all of these high ticket sales gurus that you see on social media, what is it that they're not telling you? What is it that they're hiding from you? And what they're all doing on social media is you will see them say in their content, hey, join my program. Look at all these jobs that I've got access to, right? Look at all these high ticket sales jobs in my community. There's so many of them, right? However, most of these gurus suck. And what they're giving you access to are not legitimate high ticket sales jobs where you're actually going to make money, not high ticket sales jobs with inbound leads. What are they doing then? They're just posting a ton of shitty jobs in their communities that are all outbound roles, cold calling roles, jobs with business owners who get no leads and have no sales calls scheduled, but they want to hire a salesperson to do lead generation. So when they show you, look at all these jobs, that's the kind of jobs that they're showing you. You just can't see that in their content. But then you get into this program and get into these jobs that they falsely advertise to you as really good jobs, and you make no money. So they're just psyoping you. Like, hey, look at all these great opportunities. Well, they're just shitty sales jobs that they posted in the community, and you can't tell that just by looking at it on a screen. So that is the disguise. This is what they're all doing. So you see this program, and you see this guy who's like listed all these jobs in a Discord, but they're all terrible jobs. This is the punchline that no one is talking about, okay? Anyone can post 50 bad jobs and make it look like they have a bunch of opportunities, but they're not good jobs. You know, there's a huge difference between shitty business owners that are hiring salespeople to do outbound than a good business owner who's hiring someone because he has a bunch of sales calls scheduled and he actually needs a salesperson to take those inbound sales calls. These are two totally different universes. The shitty guy is making you do lead generation because he doesn't have any sales calls scheduled. He sucks at business. His business sucks. He sucks. He's a walking red flag. Why is he hiring a salesperson? He should have done the marketing and lead generation first. He should have got that in place so that people are coming to him and buying from him instead of being like, well, this is hard. I'm a lazy piece of shit and I'm not very good at business. So let me just go hire this dumbass sales guy that I don't have to pay to do a bunch of cold outreach and lead generation for me. Okay, that's like 99% of high ticket sales businesses. You make zero fucking dollars with that guy. You're going to make $20K plus a month with the legitimate business owner who did all that work first and has tons of inbound sales calls and his calendar's booked solid. So all of these high ticket sales gurus, this is what they're giving you access to, this bullshit. They're just going and finding shitty jobs online or even just making them up and then posting them in a community so that it looks like they have all these opportunities, but they all suck. And then once you paid them money and got into their program and you're in there, you're just screwed. That's how they're doing it. So any idiot can list a ton of bad jobs that he found online in his program or community and then post that in his short form content and lie to you and say, hey, look at all these jobs. Anybody can do that, but the jobs suck and you have no way of knowing that. So this is the main problem right now with these programs is communities, is they're all lying to you. And they're just saying, I've got a ton of good jobs when they're just terrible opportunities you could probably go and find on your own with one Google search. I have not seen anyone say this. This is literally the huge secret of our industry. Now, let's talk about the second way that you can get a really good high ticket sales job. That is going to be outreach and applying. And the big secret, uncomfortable secret here, again, that the gurus are not telling you or explaining to you very well, is that if you want to do outreach on your own, you want to apply to these roles on your own, that's going to take a lot of time. That's going to take months. You're going to have to go through a lot of discomfort and probably a bunch of shitty opportunities to find the good ones. So not only that, but you'll have to do outreach and applying every day in large amounts of numbers. And most of your outreach and applications are going to go unread and ignored. You're going to be left unseen a lot, okay? All right, 95% of the people that you outreach to at a minimum are probably not going to respond at all. It's going to be like 98, 99% of them. That is normal. So I'll say that again. That is completely normal, okay? And this is what most people are not ready for. They'll say things to me like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to join a program, I'll just do it on my own, which is a huge red flag that they are not serious about this. But then they go and try and do it on their own, if they even do try, and they realize, oh, this is way harder than I thought it would be. I don't have any fucking clue what I'm doing. I should have bought into that program. Most guys can't even call a girl, bro. They can't even pick up the phone and do that. They can't even do it twice. They can't even handle being ignored for one message without having a complete comment section, temper tantrum, baby breakdown, bro. Now try doing that 30, 40, 50 times a day, every single day, for months and months on end. That is the reality of doing outreach on your own. That is normal. So again, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying that is normal. When you experience that, that's just normal for everybody. That's just the reality of doing outreach to get a high ticket sales job or to do business on the internet. That's what it's going to take. That is the raw reality of doing outreach on the internet. So what people like this will do is they'll watch a video on outreach, like many of the ones I have on my channel, and then they'll get excited or motivated for a minute and be like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then they get started and 2 or 3 days go by and they don't get any results because it's only been 2 to 3 days. So that's normal. And then suddenly it doesn't feel good anymore, right? They're not as excited and motivated anymore. So they just quit. This is the story of 99.999% of humans. I got excited for 2 days. Yeah, and then I just quit. What that means is that you value feeling good and how you feel over getting a result. So I'm going to say that again. What that means is that you would rather feel good than get a result. If you want to make a lot of money or get a good, high-paying, high-ticket sales job, then you're going to have to do a lot of work every single day that you don't want to do, that doesn't feel good, that goes nowhere for months. Sometimes even longer than that if it's for business, sometimes for years. That's normal. I can't stress this enough. You're not doing something wrong. You're not doing it the wrong way. This is just normal. There's no exceptions to this. And to put this in perspective, when I was in tech, every day for almost a year, I just did outreach and tried to master this process and figure it out. And I had no idea what I was doing at all. There were no videos. I wasn't watching any videos. I was just doing this shit for a year, every day. And it took me 9 months. Probably longer. I would say 9 months or longer. And I just never missed a day. And it took me that long to find a good job because it's normal for it to take time and for people to not respond to you and ignore you. Right now, it doesn't take me that long, but that was when I had no idea what I was doing. But I'm telling you this from the perspective of you doing it on your own. It's going to take you a long time, most likely. And I stuck through all that. No one was helping me. I did this all on my own. I didn't think, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this doesn't work. I just kept doing it because I was like, yeah, this is probably normal, And for even more perspective, if you try to start a business from scratch, you're going to have to do lead generation from zero. And 99% of thousands and thousands of messages and ad touch points will be completely ignored. 9,974 out of 10,000 hypothetical messages and ad touch points will be completely ignored and go nowhere. That's normal. So when you can't even do 3 days in a row of simple Instagram outreach, you're basically just saying, well, I can't even follow step 1 of a very basic beginner plan. I can't even do that. This is most people I talk to and try to help. This is what they told me where they got stuck at day 2. What? What are you talking about? Dude, that is pathetic, dude. I'm looking at you like you were a literal baby. It's literally disgusting to me that people can't even be consistent at something for a few months in a row every single day. Just think about that. And I'm telling you this because I want to help you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be blunt with you. Not being able to stick with something every single day for months or even years when you don't feel like it and you're not seeing results is a sign that you are going to be a failure. Okay? That's the bare minimum for succeeding at anything. Is working with no return for a very long time on end. That's the bare minimum. You're not going to succeed unless you face this reality, okay? If you can't do outreach for a few days, weeks, or months, you are cooked. It is over for you, bro. The game is over, okay? And this applies to anything, success, money related, not just high ticket sales. The people that are making lots of money, they are operating on a totally different level in their work and up here. So they're not just doing a little bit more action, they're doing like 10x the action. This is all that I do. I don't do anything else but content, sales, offers, work with clients. That's it, all day, every day, 7 days a week. And the point of this second step is just to illustrate to you that outreach and applying takes time and effort, and you're going to shoot many shots that go nowhere. That's just to point out that this is normal. That is the whole point of this. That is the entire point of telling you this, that this is completely normal, and it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. So to wrap these two steps, the only two ways that you're going to get a high ticket sales job is by joining a program like mine or someone else's who is experienced and can show you how to get into this, how to succeed long term, and give you access to jobs you will not get on your own. However, you need to do your homework and make sure that it's not one of these many other people that I talked about who are trying to scam you with these lists of like, look at these great jobs, and there's bullshit, okay? So a lot of them are scams, a lot of them aren't, but you're gonna have to do your own homework and research. And then the second way, outreach and applying, if you don't want to join a program with someone legitimate and you really just want to do this on your own, then you need to understand I'm going to have to do a lot of work. I'm going to have to do tons of outreach, tons of applying, and then I'm going to have to learn how to evaluate businesses, get into the right opportunity, learn how to do high ticket sales, stick with this, get into better and better roles, start making more and more money, right? These are the only two ways for you to succeed, and you just need to understand the raw reality of both. You want to do the program, do your homework, find the right person. You want to do it on your own, do outreach and applying and be prepared. Just have the expectation this is going to take a while, and that's all right because I'm not going to stop. If you want to get a high ticket sales job on your own, you just need to do it every single day with no expectation of a time frame, right? And then it'll probably happen faster. You just need to show up, take it one day at a time, do it like a robot, take action, never stop. That's what I did. That's how it worked out for me. And it only takes a few months at most if you just do the correct work, bro. So if people just understood these things about high ticket sales, they would succeed way faster, in my opinion. That's the end of the video. If you want my help getting a closer job or a setter job, go to the links in the description. Until next time.